All right, everybody, here's part two of making our color wheel. We have some things that you're going to need to assemble to put this together. First of all, I've got my 12 inch by 12 inch piece of thick tag board paper. And I have something just to make a circle with. You could use a bowl or whatever. I just happen to have this palette. It's not a bad idea to have some glue nearby. You can use Elmer's glue as well, and a pair of scissors would be great. Let's see, what else do I need here? I need a pencil. That'd be fantastic. And of course, I need my colors that I went ahead and painted out. Now, we're just going to pretend that I did all of these, you guys. I just have a few of these that I'm going to use to kind of demonstrate with. But that should be kind of it as far as what you are going to need. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to decide on a shape that you want to use for this color wheel. So, I've showed some examples before in the past. Like for example, this is kind of a color wheel that was done quite a few years ago. It's a nice shape. It's not terribly difficult, but it's also got a little bit of a style to it. I always say when you create a shape, you guys go Goldilocks on it. Don't make it too intricate, but also don't make it too simple. Stay away from circles and squares and triangles. Okay, if you do that, you got to do something kind of fancier with it. But these aren't bad. They're almost like a little kind of teardrop or like a little water drop shape. Okay, so something like that would work pretty good. Now I went ahead and I just did a star. So I took a little thinner piece of paper. This is like, you can take this out of your notebook. You can use a piece of computer paper. And I just drew out the star. Now, what you want to do is this. You want to go ahead and you want to burnish the back, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of burnish the back with pencil. What that does is it turns your paper into like basically carbon or tracing paper. So it works out pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of move this over real quick. So I want to show you guys how we're going to transfer this stuff on here. And I'm going to grab my colors right here. And you can kind of see I started a little bit already on my yellows. All you're going to do is you're just going to go right down the line and put your star right on top of your colors. Make sure that they fit. And you're just going to trace it out. Now, I tend to like to use a ballpoint pen when I do this because the roller on the ballpoint pen tends to transfer really nice. And also, too, it doesn't have a tendency to rip through the paper. All right, and that looks pretty good. Now, in your darker colors, it's going to show up a little less vibrant, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. Now, once you get this all traced out, okay, we're just going to kind of pretend that I got that all traced out. Then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting these, okay? Now, I'm just going to demonstrate just a little bit here, guys, simply because of the fact that I don't want to take too much time on this video, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of cut these out. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go in here. Hey, if you do this enough, you guys, and like I said, you don't make it too intricate, it shouldn't take you too long to do. Now, yellow is also a color that's very, very kind of susceptible to any sort of smudging, staining, if you will. Sometimes if you take a bigger eraser, you can kind of clean that off a little bit too, and that's usually pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of finish this up right through here, and voila, so I've got my yellow. I'm just going to pause this real quick while I get my other ones, and we'll show you guys how we'll place this on our color wheel. Okay, so I've got my three colors for my yellow cutout. Okay, now here's what I'd recommend doing. I'd recommend as you cut them out on the backs, label what they are. Now, of course, some of the primary, secondary colors will be pretty easy to figure out, but you get to these other colors, guys, especially when you start adding the shadows or the shades to them. All right, it's gonna be really hard. So this is my yellow tint. I'm gonna do that, and this will be my yellow shade. Get all of these labeled, okay? And then what I would do too is I would actually get an envelope or put these in like a little jar or something, all right? Keep them all together, keep them kind of organized. Sometimes people like to lay them out before they glue them down, but it's not a bad idea to get everything cut out first before you go ahead and put it on here. Because that way too, when you put it on the color wheel, guys, you're gonna be able to get it spaced out really good, okay? Now, drawing out your color wheel, real easily. Take your circle, pencil, trace out the circle. And like I said, it doesn't have to be terribly big. It's a cereal bowl, works really well for that. So we've got that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get my color wheel shapes on here. So I'm going to usually start with yellow at the top, okay? That's kind of my good one there. I can put purple right straight across here, so I can put that at the bottom. All right, a good way of kind of doing this is if you make kind of a little triangle with your hands and you move your thumbs straight out, okay? That's kind of a good spot where you're going to have your other secondary colors. So this will be my red, this will be my blue, okay? Across from red is going to be green, okay, because that's my complement. Across from blue is going to be orange, okay? And then we got yellow orange, we've got yellow green, Okay, and just kind of take a look at your colors that you have here. Blue, green, remember your primary comes before your secondary. We got blue, purple, and I'm just putting BP and putting RP, and then finally our orange, okay, red, orange, okay? So I've got all these colors on here. Now, once I have this on here, like I said, it's a good idea to get all your shapes cut out, and then you can kind of arrange them on here. I'm gonna go ahead, and I might actually have my shapes go inwards towards the center here. Actually, this one goes this way, I think. All right, so we have this. And you can have your shapes overlap if you want like that. Actually, that looks pretty cool too. So it's entirely up to you as far as how you want to go and do this. So when you get this on here, guys, I'm going to go ahead, take whatever glue you can find. Typically a glue stick is really good. Otherwise, Elmer's glue works pretty good for this as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and you're just going to put glue right on the backs of these. If you use a glue stick, I always notice too, even Elmer's glue, it's not a bad idea to kind of hold it down. Okay, just so you get some good adhesion, things don't fall off. I know over the years I've had kids at their color wheels, colors have fallen off, and I said, hey, where's this color? And and they're like, oh, and it's too bad because it kind of ruins a little bit of the project too. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of add this one here. Now, when you put these on, you see I started with my base color, my hue color, and then I went to my shade, and then I went to my tint. You can arrange them however you want. I know a lot of times a lot of kids like to put the base color in the middle, and I could have done that too, but you can go ahead and put them however you want. As long as you stay consistent, you should be fine. But that's pretty much about it, you guys. And of course, if I have the rest of these colors, I'd go ahead and glue them down. Now, the other little trick to kind of know is this. It's not a bad idea to glue down your primaries first, then your secondaries, and then your tertiaries. That way, two things get spaced out really good. Because if you start gluing them down and start working your way around like this, sometimes you get some spacing that just doesn't look very good. So it's kind of nice to get that a little bit more spaced out so you can kind of see what you're dealing with, and it visually just looks so much nicer. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, good luck. I can't wait to see what you guys create with these, and we'll see you next time.